Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of War Room Heaven, a safe space for the warriors in recovery, where faith meets truth and healing becomes solid. I'm your host, Deborah Elroi, author of The Coaching, a practical guide to trauma recovery, and today I'm joined by Ian.
Hi everyone, it's always a joy to sit with you, Deborah.
Thank you.
I've been reading The Crushing, and one chapter completely stopped me. The part where Joy returns to her parents' home after a miscarriage, hoping to heal, but is sent straight back into her abusive marriage because of that haunting question: what will people say? When I finished it, I knew I had to talk about it on the podcast.
Thank you so much. And of course, you chose the everyone. That was the heaviest topic in my chapters in my book. Today we are diving into the chapter where Joy, our main character, returns to her parents after a miscarriage, hoping to heal, and instead gets sent back into a abusive marriage because of that infamous phrase. You know what it is? What will people say? It's one of the hardest chapters I've ever written because it came from a very deep place.
That part absolutely broke me. Joy had already lost her baby, her hope, her name, her sense of safety. She went home to recover, to find peace, and instead she was met with judgment and tradition. Reading it, I could almost see her suitcase still dusty from travel, eyes swollen from loss, and then the shock. Her parents telling her to return. They thought they were protecting her reputation, but they were really sending her back to danger.
Exactly, and that's not fiction for many people. Parents often love their daughters deeply, but they fear society more than they fear the scars their daughters will carry. They say something like, "We don't want disgrace, we don't want you to disgrace our family." They forget that silence has killed more daughters than shame ever did. In The Crushing, Joy walks into what should have been a place of comfort, and suddenly her grief becomes a public inconvenience. Her body is still bleeding, but everyone's more concerned about appearances. They tell her, "Oh, you're a good wife, go back." And marriage isn't a bed of roses, but no one warns her that a bed has become a battlefield. Now, that reminds me of the popular celebrity in Nigeria who was in an abusive marriage with her husband, and she died because the man used to beat her consistently. He has always been beating her and hitting her on the chest, and eventually the woman developed a chest problem, and then she died from it. And the whole news was everywhere in the world. Like everyone knew that it was the husband that killed her. That is what abuse can do.
Well, that to me and other people in the UK, that's murder.
Oh yeah, that's murder. So how do you think it is coped in the country?
In this country?
Yeah.
Abuse, it's really abuse over here. It can be controlled. If the victim can find help from organisations, and if the worst comes to the worst, then the police can come into it.
Yeah.
And the law can come into it.
Yeah.
For abusive, well, the abuser can face imprisonment, get fined, and they get a restraining order to keep away from the victim.
Yeah, and I believe that is the reason why it's more reduced here in the United Kingdom. And that's not fiction for most people. So
that line right there in your book, her bed had become a battlefield. It hit me because it's true for so many women. We glorify endurance and call it virtue, even when it's slowly killing them.
Exactly. Joy's story mirrors what countless women live daily. The culture says hold it together. The church, sometimes, they tell you to pray harder, submit harder. Oh, you're not humble enough. You have to humble yourself before your husband. But very, very few people say, "Are you safe?" Joy's miscarriage wasn't just physical loss. It was emotional and spiritual loss too. She lost the version of herself who believed that pleasing people was the same thing as pleasing God.
Well, you're right. In many cultures, family honour becomes heavier than human life. Parents worry that if their daughter leaves a marriage, the community will gossip, but they don't consider what happens if she never leaves and doesn't survive.
Yeah, that's the tragedy. Joyce's mother loved her, but her love was fearful. She said, "People will think I didn't raise you well." And I remember writing that line with tears because it's such a real sentence. So many women are told, "Go back, try again, be silent," and no one ever asked them, "Are you safe enough to go back? Is the place you're going back, is it safe for you?"
Well, it's heartbreaking because culturally parents believe they're saving the daughters' futures. They think endurance keeps dignity intact, but actually they're teaching her that peace is negotiable. that survival must be sacrificed for appearance, and yet society can be so cruel. The fear of gossip is stronger than the fear of grief. Everyone is worried about what the neighbours will whisper, not what Joy is surviving.
That's what the question is really about. The silent wars fought behind closed doors. The moments when you're forced to choose between saving your own image and saving your life. And the danger is some daughters never make it back out. The bruises become normal. The fear becomes daily reading. They learn to whisper their prayers quietly so that the abusers doesn't hear them. That's the crushing that never makes the headline.
Well, yeah, and this is where, as parents, guardians, uncles, aunties, we need to relearn love, and love that protects, doesn't send a wounded daughter back to the battlefield. Love that listens, doesn't hide behind what will the neighbours say, because neighbours won't attend the funeral if it goes wrong.
True, very true. Neighbours won't attend the funeral if it goes wrong.
Well, parents must understand honour is not maintained by silence, it's maintained by truth. And God never asked us to protect reputations at the expense of lives. He is a father who rescues, not one who covers abuse with prayer meetings.
That's powerful, Ian, because that's what Joy's story tries to show. She wasn't just fighting for freedom, she was fighting to be believed. She needed her parents to see her pain, not just her duty.
Yeah. Well, the real healing starts when one generation decides this ends with me.
This ends with me, yeah.
When mothers say my daughter's peace matters more than my pride. When fathers say you are safe to come home. That's how cultural redemption begins. Not by shouting, but by protecting.
Exactly. And I believe that's why God allowed me to write the caution, to give language to what many families are too afraid to name. Because if we don't talk about it, then we'll continue to repeat its cycle.
And if you're listening right now, maybe you're a parent who's torn between faith and fear, community, compassion. Please hear this. Sending her back doesn't save her. Standing with her does.
Beautifully said. Parents are meant to be the first place of safety, not the last door a daughter dreads knocking on.
Can we talk about John, her husband, because you wrote him brilliantly, charming in public but controlling in private. It's frightening how people like that can be so loved in the community and yet so dangerous at home.
Yes. John represents the type of man people admire because he knows how to perform goodness. He says all the right things, dresses well, gives in church, but at home, Joy's walking on eggshells, and the world can't believe it because abusers doesn't always look like villains. Sometimes they look like choir leaders, Well,
that's so true. And the moment Joy whispers, I'm tired of being brave, you can almost hear generations of women exhale with her.
That line came from deep pain, Ian. It did. Because bravery isn't staying silent. Bravery is saying, I deserve peace. God never asks us to prove faith by staying where we are dying. Endurance without wisdom isn't holiness. It's self-destruction.
Yeah. And that's what makes Joy's final decision so powerful. When she finally leaves, it's not rebellion, it's resurrection. You even wrote she wasn't running away from her marriage, she was running towards her sanity.
Yes, because before God restores, He rescues. Living wasn't the end of her fate. It was the beginning of her freedom. She didn't stop believing in love. She just stopped confusing pain with purpose.
Well, that's profound. And it speaks not only to women in abusive relationships, but to anyone staying somewhere harmful out of guilt or public expectation.
Exactly. Sometimes the onliest thing you can do is to walk away. Joy's story reminds us that obedience isn't always staying. Sometimes it's just leaving.
Yeah. Well, Deborah, for the people listening, maybe someone is living their own John and Joy story right now, trapped between faith, fear, and reputation. What would you say to them?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say you're not dishonoring God by wanting safety. You're not faithless for wanting peace. You're God's daughter before you're anyone's wife. You're God's son before you're anyone's husband. If the house you call home is draining the life out of you, know this and know peace. God can rebuild your story elsewhere. And this is the same for the men as well. He still writes redemption out of ashes.
Well, that's such a freeing message. And I think that's what makes the crushing so powerful. It doesn't just describe pain, it gives hope, permission to live again.
Amen. So every joy out there, guys, and every parent listening, may you choose love that protects, not pride that punishes. Because the crushing isn't just about one woman's pain. It's about the courage to end cycles that destroy generations. To every listener, know this. Your crushing isn't the end. It's the making of you. She will laugh again, love again, and live again. Joy's story might be fiction on paper, but the pain, the healing, the courage, those are real. Somewhere between our pages and my heart, I found pieces of my own story too.
Well, Deborah, thank you for sharing such a vulnerable story today. Thank you for sharing truth. And to anyone who has been crushed by culture or silence, remember, God sees.
That's my name.
Elroi. He rescues, he rebuilds, and sometimes the most godly thing you can do is simply to leave and live.
Exactly, live and live. And thank you, Ian, for helping me unpack it with such grace. To everyone listening again, if you haven't read The Crushing, A Practical Guide to Trauma Recovery, please do. It will remind you that pain doesn't mean God's absence. Sometimes it's the clearest proof of His presence. If this episode has spoken to your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't yet read The Crushing, I promise you, it will meet you exactly where you are if you read it. Back to you, Ian. You've read about over 100 pages of the book. I know the book is like a dictionary, to be honest.
Yeah.
Someone saw the book and it was like, have you just written a new Bible? Because of the volume, like it's very huge. So apart from this chapter that you said really touched you, what can you say about the book? Like
about
generally,
the book?
yeah.
Well, really, looking at the book and with age and whatever, looks don't last forever. Yeah, you need to get that right. Looks don't last forever.
Don't last forever.
But in your mind, your emotions, they can last a long time, and really, they need to be healed. And the healing is by getting to the root cause of the problem, and then to get free from that problem. It's like getting a weed out or getting abuse out. The brokenness that's in, you need to be healed. And there are organisations that can help, but the main man who can help is Jesus, the healer. He can heal
the heart,
but first of all, you have to forgive. You have to forgive, and then ask for God's healing. You need to get the sin out of the way and all the guilt out of the way. Because Jesus went to the cross for us. He died for us. And so really, you need to be healed by Jesus' stripes, but you have to forgive and set yourself free from sin.
Forgive those people that have hurt you.
Forgive them. It's going to be a hard thing to do.
It's difficult.
A very hard thing to do.
It's difficult.
But
with the help of Jesus, it will be easy. So what can you tell people that have not read the book? Like, what advice can you give people that have not read the book to before they read the book? What do you think they will get from the book if they start reading the book?
I think you get to...
I mean, what will they learn from the book?
You're not alone. There are other people that are going through the same situation all the way around the world. People who are in abusive marriages, and they need to be healed. They need to come out of them or have to forgive and just stop the beating. Just choke down.
Stop the beating.
Stop the beating.
Stop the punching.
The abuse, Just stop the abuse and just ask Jesus to heal.
I think you know this is what they say is broken people break people. So most of these abusers, they abuse other people because they've been abused. Some of them. So sometimes those abusers need to heal first.
They do,
because if they don't heal from their brokenness, they'll keep breaking other people. And that's why I always advise people that have gone through abuse to go through therapy and soul healing sessions, because if not, they will become abusers themselves. So that's the best way to look at it in the eyes of forgiveness, because if you have to look at these abusers as they have been abused, so they're broken people. So if you see them as broken people, you will look at them with a eye of empathy, and that will help you to forgive them quickly. Thank you for reading my book. It took you ages to read that book, but I'm happy you read the book, and I'm happy that you love it. I'm happy that you're happy to talk about it on here as well. Thank you so much, Ian. Bye.
Bye.